All right, so let's get to our young people. Our young people were failed during the pandemic. There is currently a lawsuit happening right now. There's a court case happening right now dealing with this issue, how we as a state failed our young people during the pandemic. We just weren't prepared. And it's hard to imagine that when we're also the home of Silicon Valley. We have all of this technology, all these tools at our disposal, but we still failed our young people. Okay. I don't think that it's more so blaming this person or blaming that person or whatever, but we have to look at the system, right? And anyone who's been elected to fix that system, it still takes a while to fix the system, but the system has been there. And the system is a part of a much greater issue where we're defunding their schools, we're taking away their after-school programs. We even when it comes to how cities are designed, the reason why there's so many people so many young people at Bay Street, how many movie theaters are there in the area? And so a lot of these spaces have been shut down because we're not designing our cities for them. We're designing our cities for those who can rent these luxury apartments that are being popped up everywhere. You notice how there's no slowdown when it comes to them. And so these young people know they're being displaced. They aren't stupid. They know that they're being gentrified out. They know that by the time they get to their 10-year or 20-year high school reunion, they will come back to the city and know that everything that they could recognize has been changed and has been removed. They are being pushed out. Some of these young people have to travel great distances because they've been pushed out so far that for them to see their friends, they have to commute to see their friends, and then they get together. Now, when it comes to how that is landing on them emotionally, we all know it's coming out as anger. It's coming out as frustration. It's coming out as them being able to entertain themselves with these, with these fights and all these things that are happening. And here's my thing. Young people, you are being played. You are being played because you're getting together and you're thinking that you're hanging out with friends. And some of you know that there was a fight that was about to happen. Some of you do know that. But a lot of you don't know. And a lot of you had no idea that a crime would be taking place. These syndicates that have such a hold on disenfranchised youth and are using them. And my thing is that Charles Dickens wrote novels about this, right? Remember the Artful Dodger, right? And so you're going to blame the Artful Dodger, but you're not going to blame the syndicate that uses young people. And that's the thing is that people are up in arms about the crime rates and we should have come down on them. How can we track them? How can we do this and do that? Well, wait a minute. You weren't paying for that. When you cut funding for youth support services, you weren't paying for that. You were paying for a whole lot of other things, but you weren't paying for that. And now chickens are coming home to roost, to use Malcolm's words, that we have this system that isn't friendly towards them, that doesn't love them, that doesn't create a village around them. And then we get upset when they cross the tracks, because that's exactly what happened. They crossed the tracks and you're upset that they aren't staying on their side of the tracks. So how does that make us look? Our young people can already see how we treat the unhoused to know what's coming for them. This is class. This is elitism. And I don't care if you don't think, you're like, well, I'm not rich, Kalimah, so how can I be elitist? We need to look at our politics. We need to look at how we're funding things. We need to look at our politicians and hold them accountable. When they see a DA, and no matter which DA, progressive or not, because every DA is being blamed now, when they see a DA getting all this fire and heat and they say nothing, it's by design. They want them to get that heat. And I want us to really focus on what is it that we can do. If you don't like it, run for office. If you don't like it, join these committee meetings. If you don't like it, show up. Take the time to show up and let them know. Let us know. Let me know that you want change, because that is the only way change can happen. And I apologize if I'm a bit fired up about this, but what I see is a lot of complaining, but not a whole lot of activism. I see a lot of complaining, but not a whole lot of investment. I see a lot of complaining, but then at the public safety meetings, when we say time now for public comment, is there anyone who would like to make a public comment? No one is there. No one says anything. And that needs to change. And only you can change it. And my hope is that a lot of these young people realize that they got played and that they were on the scene of a crime. You know, I would like for us to have a relationship with our schools so that when these things happen, our cameras take their pictures and we send them straight to the schools. And we're like, yeah, do you recognize this young person? Because our young people do need to be held accountable. We shouldn't just excuse it away because of how we failed them, and we did. But I believe that with programs and nonprofit organizations, there are centers out there that are not getting the funding and support that they need to make this happen. Stop blaming and start taking accountability. Thank you.